Good morning, all of you. So today we'll discuss about the Ampere's force and magnetic dipole moment. Then related some numericals, we'll have that one. So that will be our this week overall syllabus. So if you look at the books, we have plenty of application problems which are related to Biot-Savart law, Ampere circuit law. So try to avoid problems where the application with the application are not there. Can you hear me?
Yes,
All of you
sir.
able to hear me? Somebody
Yes,
saying,
sir.
Yes, sir.
okay, fine, yeah. So now the syllabus there, Biot-Savart law, Ampere circuit law. Any problem with like a charge particle moving nearby wire, you can avoid, because next week we can cover some problems of related to that. So only simple cells related to magnetic field, moving charge particles in magnetic field, electric field, weight or friction, all other in the action of various forces. Then the Ampere's force here also related to without any calculation of magnetic field due to any structure. If they give magnetic field due to any particular system, as you can carry on. Already that's why for safer purpose I just derived Biot-Savart law. That is going to help you. A lot of numericals will be related to that long wire. In exams, I think they'll try to avoid. In exams, they'll try to avoid numericals related to this one. Anyway, on Friday, I'll give clarity. Anyway, you prepare it. On Friday, I'll tell you what to prepare, what can be avoided in exam. Because the bias, all the problems are related with Biot-Savart law. This is all application what we are doing. But first we are learning application, then the fundamentals will come in Biot-Savart law. Things are like that. Okay, first this is Ampere's force. So already we know a moving charge particle magnetic field will experience a force. So let me take a conductor. And I'll energize it with the help of a cell. EMF difference. So we know a current I will flow through it. So this end will be positive, negative. There will be an electric field will be set up inside the conductor. And let's assume positive charge. So conventional positive charge, and it will be drifting with this speed Vd. So this particular is having a charge Q, and let me introduce a magnetic field, whether this conductor is immersed in a magnetic field. This is external magnetic field, not field produced by a wire. This is external field. What is B? B is an external field. Okay, fine, this one. So look at this, the magnetic field will interact with this charge particle also. Though this particular charge particle are nothing but opposite to this, you assume an electron. Because atoms will not move. In fact, electron will be moving. This magnetic field will even interact with electrons. These atoms, what they do, they'll interact with this electrons here. So that particular electron will experience a force. So that negative charge, all you'll get confused. So thatly, like me I'm taking positive charge. So apply the Fleming's left-hand rule. This will be B bar into the plane velocity. So the force acting on this elemental charge, let it be dF. So what is the formula for this? As we know, so dF is equal to Q into BD into B. Or the charge of this, let it be dQ. And a current I is flowing. So what is the current I? How we define I? The current I, we define dQ by dt. This dQ, I'll replace it. I dt what is further this speed? So let me take a small elemental strip. So this speed can also define it as rate of change of displacement, or delta x by delta d. Anything if you want, you write it. So let me just stick on to the basic mathematics. This speed is equal to dx by dt. So this will become dx, this is dt. Dt get eliminated. So I B dx. This is what the force acting on the small charge, this one. So now further I'll integrate it. So this should be F equal to IB. So what is the length of the conductor? Let it be L. So I'm getting IBL, or in the vector form, I can write it as I into L bar cross V bar, because the direction of the drift velocity is what the direction of conventional current. So if this is called like an ampere force. This one. So it depends on what all. What's the length is a scalar. The direction of current will be the direction of L bar. So how do that force should act here? According to this one, L bar. So the direction of current is from right to left here, and B bar. So again, what is this? Fleming's left-hand rule. Again, the term. Okay, this will be the F bar. This will be the B bar, and this will be the I. Or say L bar it is. And what is L bar? The direction of current will be the L bar across the conductor. L bar cross B bar. So right hand screw rule, if you curl from L bar to B bar, open up the thumb will give the direction of F, that one. So almost next chapter, electromagnetic induction, very widely using. So next again for almost you can say 1 month, we'll be dealing all the numericals related to this amperes force only. Another 1 month. So from now onwards, almost till 1 month, what happened, we'll be just dealing with all our application problems related to this ampere force only. Okay, there's a basic idea, this one. So what is that F? What is F? F on what I brought it? The conductor made up of several charges. So like this, the resultant of the force experienced, the resultant force experienced by all the charges is what that ampere force, I'll call it. And that will act on the conductor. So in a simplest way, if there's a conductor, a current carrying wire, this one, if it is placed in a magnetic field, in what direction it will experience force? So it will be upward. There's a wire itself. So there's a wire, you write it. So put B bar, and in the action of current, put the length of the conductor, the force F will be upward. Now if I change the direction of magnetic field on the same wire, let B bar be the out of the plane. Then the force will be acting in this direction. Okay, go this one. This is not the direction of B bar out of the plane into the plane. Now, sir, this B bar is what produced by the current flowing in a wire. No, this is the external field. A current carrying wire kept in an external field. This B bar is not due to current that is flowing in a wire. This is the external field. I'm making things clear. So what is the conclusion now? If a current carrying conductor kept in an external field of magnetic field strength B, then it's going to experience a force, and that is given by this one, F equal to I L bar cross B bar. So if you write the magnitude, it will be I L B sine theta, or effective, what is theta? Angle between L bar and B bar. Several books given different method, and just brought a simplified one, which is there in book. That one I brought it. Or you can also assume dq. What is dq? Further you can write eta a dx, the force experienced with the charge present in this strip. Calculate the force on the total charge present in this strip. Then current density, like that you can introduce, and finally you'll arrive here only. Now what is the thing about this? It's a conservative force. it's a conservative force. So now you have to ask questions, so where you are showing this F, because the charges are present everywhere here, no? And what is this F? The total force exerted by the field on the current carrying wire. And here open, I'm showing through, it will act through center of mass here. It will pass through the center of mass. It all depends upon again the what happened, the magnetic field, how the magnetic field is in that particular region. You should not conclude that always it acts through center of mass of the conducting wire, that one. Here the field is uniform. I'm taking through the point of action will be through the center of mass. If the B is variable, then the point of action need not be at the center of mass. So as we take the numericals, you come across the situation. So this is about the introduction part. Okay, let's do one thing. Just analyze these various situations. So first, there's a wire. B bar into the plane. So what is the length of this? Let it be L. Next again, I will take another wire, which is a semicircle. What is the effective length of this? Will be again equal to L according to the diagram. And again, the same current I flows. Again, B bar is present. Look at the arbitrary shape conductor here. So there's a 2, 3, and 4. In all the cases, let I be the current. Then B bar is what about the force exerted by the field on this current carrying wire? In all the cases, it is same. In all the cases, it is going to be the same. In all the cases, I'm just write F1 equal to F2 equal to F3 equal to F4 equal to how much BIL. In short, let me write here. So what about the direction? Sir, in all the cases, yes, the direction also will be horizontal. F1, F2. So what we have to do, we have to just search for the effective length. Some correction is there. It just depends only on that effective length. Because L bar is there. No, what do you mean by L bar? L bar is effective length. Not able to understand. We'll do one thing. Let me take a semicircle here. That L bar meaning is what I'm trying to explain. So first, I'll take the effective length. So can I write down the L bar of this element? So shall I call L1 bar? Then I'll add up. Next, effective length of this L2 bar. Then L1 bar plus L2 bar. The effective length of that. Call L3 bar. This I'll add up with this. Arrow I'll put it. Next again. L4 bar. So L3 bar plus L4 bar. Shall I go for 1? The effective length. This is one way of writing that, because L bar is what effective length of the conductor should be substituted in the formula, not the length of the conductor. So what is L bar indicates effective length of the conductor. So from where to where? From where the current entering to the where the current is leaving. So calculate the effective length. So nothing but you can, in terms of kinematics, displacement vector, similar to that. So effective length of the rod. So L in the formula indicates effective length, not length of the conductor. Is that clear? No? So what is the meaning of this L? This is or. So what is this current? The current is flowing like this, no? Actually, the current is flowing like this. So you can also take help of the displacement vector, because how you define current? How we define current? I is equal to eta q vd, and this diff velocity. So when the charge particle moves from here to here, what is the net displacement it has undergone? I think we are able to calculate the net displacement. So substitute that in terms of the diff velocity also you can analyze. So when it moves from one end to another end, what is the net displacement? The net displacement is what? Equal to this L bar only. Or when it moves from here to here. Anyway, I think I'll change the direction of current. Okay, no, I know. So when the charge particle moves from this end to this end, how do it move? It will move in a curved path. But what is the effective length traversed by it is L bar. Or what is the displacement of charge particle will be L bar. Because how you define diff velocity? Displacement by time taken. Average displacement by time taken. So in terms of either charge you analyze, or in terms of the vector notation, what you know, with that you can analyze here. Means now, if I current carrying loop, if I keep in a magnetic field, I'll keep in a magnetic field. So let the B bar into the plane. Now what is the force acting on this one? What about the net force acting on this element or on this ring? So there's a ring of radius A, let me take here. So there's a iron ring. This is external current. So how do this current will flow? Some external source. Let's not bother about all those things now. Let A be the radius of the ring. So what about the situation here? What is L bar for this? Will be zero, no? So the net force will be zero. Or in terms of mathematics, you can analyze it. You take a small element, this one, like this, you take small element. So what is the force acting on this? B bar current, B bar. Okay, then I'll change the direction of current. Current, let me put here in this way. Now apply this one. B bar. So what is the force acting on this small element on the ring? I took it like this. So like this, you assume several elements. So if I take one more element here, how the force acting on all these elements will be? Radially outward. So what will happen to the net force on the ring? In fact, it's zero, no? The net force acting on the ring, in fact, it will be zero. That. Or in terms of mathematics, if you want to show that in terms of mathematics, you can take, I'll assume a length dl. Let the current I will be flowing. So then the force acting on this small element, let it be df. So then what we write? Df, integral of df equal to I dl bar cross p bar. What is the integration in closed path? Not integral of only dl in closed path will become 2 pi a. But here I am writing the vector, no, integration in closed path dl bar. If I write only this, how much value of this will be? If I write like this, 2 pi r. I think I'll interpret this. It will be like this. But if you write integration dl bar in closed path, will be zero, no? This quantity will be zero. Okay, fine. So just take help of the small basic mathematics. So therefore, we'll get this much. So what is the total force? No, F should be equal to 0. the overall force F must be 0. So therefore, if a current carrying ring is kept in a uniform magnetic field, what will be the force on it? Will be 0 is what we can say. Will there be any tension set up in it? As we can take help of some small mathematics already you have come across at many places. No, this is theta, this is theta. Then how the tension will act? Tension will act radially or tangential to this. Then this will be theta. So then who will balance that deforming force? The deforming force is balanced by dF is equal to 2t sine theta. What is dF? Bi dl 2 theta. So what is dl? R 2 theta. So what is T equal to? BIR. This is the tension in the ring. There's a new force you have come across called as Ampere's force. And so finally, what is our goal in physics? This force we will introduce in mechanics and we'll work out different numericals. That'll be our problem solving method. First, what happen? We'll check what is the Ampere force, how it has came. Then finally, what happen? What is our like a goal is in different situations, how that force will be acting. That one means you have to treat this is just like any other, like a weight, a spring. It's a conservative force, so you'll get SHM. It will mix it with surface tension. It will be mixed with friction, all the rolling motion, everything. That one. It's just current carrying wire will experience a force. Finish all. The rest all application problems you have to enter. You have to see that is a closed path all conditions, and effective length is what matters when you're calculating that force. Effective length is what you take it. I'm saying what is the net force on the ring? 0, in fact. What is the net force acting on the ring? Is 0. If a current carrying loop kept in a uniform magnetic field will be 0. If a current carrying ring kept in a non-uniform magnetic field, current carrying loop, shall I say, ring or loop, either way same. Current carrying loop kept in a uniform magnetic field, net force will be 0. Current carrying loop kept in a non-uniform magnetic field, definitely be non-zero, because if the field on one off, here field is more than this one. So definitely net force will be upward. Able to make it out? This one? So this is about the basic introduction, this one. So we'll go for further. And now let me take two parallel wires. So there's a wire. Two wires. They are held parallel. So let the separation be equal to D. Long wires. So let's see that what is the force of interaction between them. Now suddenly can we bring the concept from the finite wire to infinite wire as it is. So let the current flowing here be I1. Let the current flowing here be I2. Can you remember field due to long wire? So what about the field due to first wire at the location of second wire? Everywhere will be into the plane. I'm writing the symbols here. So what do you mean that circle here? The I2 will produce its own field. What is my question? What is the force experienced by the second wire due to current in the first wire? So what I should do at the location of second wire, what is the field produced by the first wire? I'm putting cross one, I'm writing it. So how the field on the right hand side of the first wire into the plane. So let me take a small element. Length of this element be dl. Then the force of interaction dF is equal to B1 I2 into dl. What direction it will be? It will be towards left. Similarly, can we assume that the wire 1 is present in the field of wire 2. So then how the will be like this. So here, let me take a now let me take a small element. So this should be how the force on this will be this one. Fleming's left hand rule. Apply Fleming's left hand rule. Keep your open, take the left hand, put in the direction of circle dot in the direction of this circle dot to put pointing finger. It should be out of your screen in the mobile or laptop. Put middle finger in the direction of current. Open the thumb. Thumb will be pointing towards left. Okay, got this? So now look at this is like a mutual force, no? Mutual force. So what is, we can also write df is equal to what we can write? B2 I1 dl. I'm writing mutual. You see how they are equal. I can show this mathematically. Now what is B1? What is the field due to long wire? They are long wires. Mu naught I1 2 pi d. So this should be equal to mu naught I2 2 pi d I1 dl. So what is df by dl? Mu naught I1 I2 2 pi d. df by dl mu naught I1 I2 2 pi d. Shall I say mutual and the two attractive force? If the current is in same direction, it will be attractive in nature. They'll attract each other. So rather than force, I'll go for force per unit length. Why force per unit length? Because a long wire, no, dl, if you integrate or become infinite. So therefore, force per unit length, we define force per unit. What is the force per unit length? Mu naught I1 I2 by 2 pi d. If current is in same direction, it will be attractive. If the current is in opposite direction, if the two wires, if the current flows in opposite sense. So here let it be I1, let this be I2. Then it will be repulsive. And the force per unit length, you can calculate it. That's the same formula. The separation between them, let it be equal to D. And I think this is what we use to define 1 ampere in the units and dimension chapter. So the expression for this one, 1 ampere watt pen, we take help of this experiment itself. So from this experiment only, we define what do you mean by 1 ampere. There's the force of interaction between the two wires here. Just do remember the force per unit length is what very important. Whenever long wire comes, no, we go for force per unit length. When it's a finite wire, okay, we'll directly ask you the force here. Okay, after this, next we'll take the if it is some any, so how do this force will, if I keep this in a long, okay, there's a long wire. I'll take a finite wire. The finite wire is kept what is the force experienced by the different. So there's a long wire. Current, let it be I1 infinity. Let the current here, let it be I2. Let it be at a distance C, and let this length be L. So are you seeing one long wire? There's a long wire, and the black color one is a finite wire. No? So what is the force experienced by this long wire due to current in the finite wire, or force experienced by the finite wire due to long wire? As it is a mutual, no? So which will be easier? So assuming, because as a mutual, so I'll assume that the short wire or this finite wire or this horizontal wire is present in the field of long wire. We know field due to long wire. So here how the field will be into the plane. Then B bar. So if I assume a small element of length dx, so what the force will be in this direction. So what is the expression for df? Df is equal to b1 df2 is equal to b1 I2 into dx. So what is b1? Mu naught I1 2 pi x. So this is equal to mu naught I1 I2 by 2 pi dx by x. So where the wire is present, it is present from region x equal to 0 to, so here let me define limits, no? X equal to, this will be, because this is x equal 0, this is x equal to a, this will become x equal to a plus l. Because I am defining b bar from where? From the long wire 1. So x equals 0 is the location of the long wire. Write it here. So where the that black color wire is present in the region x equal to a to x equal to l, no? X equal to 0 is this one, a. This will be a plus l. So what should be the limit, no? Limit will be a to a plus l. So therefore, what is the force of interaction? Mu naught I1 I2 2 pi log of upper limit, or this is equal to what is actually the situation of this? Means like there's a long wire, no? And the short wire is here. Where do you show this force? Where to show this particular force? Shall we say at center of mass? No, nothing. You look at the element here. The element, you assume one element here, one element here. Which element will experience more force? The one which is near to the long wire, no? The one which is near to the long wire is going to experience force. So you assume two identical elements, one here, one here. This element will experience more force, no? So therefore, the point of application should not be at the center of mass here. Should be towards left. It will act somewhere here. This will be the center you take it. Look at the tendency of this rod. This rod is having a mass m. This rod is having a mass m. So anything will happen to this rod? No. Under action of this force, it will accelerate and also it will rotate, no? Can we calculate the torque? Because again, it's a rigid body. It's a rigid rod. Let me take it. And what is the, whenever a force acts, what is the ability of a rigid body? If it is set free to rotate, it will rotate about center of mass of system. So therefore, you should define torque about center of mass. So just I think you have to take small elements. So how to calculate the torque? Take small element here. Take small element here. Calculate force on this. dF1 you take it. Take another small element. So look at these two forces about center of mass. This will set up a clockwise torque, no? What about this? Anti-clockwise torque. Take the difference of that, you get the net torque about C. Then you know moment of inertia, you can calculate that angular acceleration. All problems linked with rotation mechanics can also be introduced here. You have to be very specific. In coming classes, we'll discuss the numericals related to this application. So what is the tendency of rod? If set free to rotate, it will have translatory as well as rotatory motion. Okay, let's take next one. If the rod is inclined, And what is the force of interaction between these two rods? This is A, this length, rod AB, current, let it be I. Okay, length AB is equal to 2A. So we have to find the force acting on the rod AB. So where this angle, let it be 37 degrees. Theta. The rod, instead of keeping rod AB horizontal, let it be inclined here. If it is a parallel to the long wire, I think we can manage. Different orientations we are taking here. Again, what is the method? So we'll assume a small element. We'll assume a small element. So let the length of this element be dl. So how the force, again the b bar will be into the plane. So let me call this a 1. So b bar here will be into the plane. This is 1, wire 1 I'll call it. This is a 2. How the force on this element will be? It will be in this direction. So let this length be equal to dl. This is equal to dl. Then I assume that this element is at a distance of x. That this element directly, let me take that one. So let this element be at a distance x. So this is dl. So if I draw that triangle, this is what dl and this is what dx, no? And this is theta. X and dl are different. There's a relation between dl and dx. Dl is small element. Dx is elemental length along x-axis here. Or its projection along x-axis. So therefore this will be cos theta equal to dx by dl. Okay, let's write force on this element. So what is the field at this point? Let it be B1. Let it be B1. So what is B1 equal to? So df is equal to B1 into current I into dl, no? dl is the length of that element and the df is the force acting on that small element in the wire AB. So further, what is B1? Mu naught I 2 pi x I dl. We can't integrate x and dl is there. So the dl I'll replace with this. Mu naught I square 2 pi x dl, what you can write? Dx by cos theta. So this will be mu naught I square 2 pi cos theta dx by x. Force on the wire AB. What should be the limit? So I think we should calculate this also, no? So what is the length of the rod? 2a. So this will be 2a cos, that is cos theta. This length here. So effective AB cos theta, that will become length of the rod AB is 2a, no? So 2a cos theta. So what should be the limit I should substitute here now? Where all the rod AB? it is lying at a distance x equal to a to a plus 2a cos theta. Are you trying to see the limit? Here what the trouble will arise for you. A plus 2a cos theta it should be, because the along x-axis this one, so this should be equal to finally mu naught I square 2 pi cos theta log of 1 plus 2 cos theta. Substitute value of cos theta, solve it, you'll get the required answer. Cos theta will be 4 by 5. I think this will become 5 mu naught I square 8 pi log of cos theta 4 by 5. So 13 by 5. Look at this force, how it will be. It will be directed in this. So where you should show not at the midpoint again. This force will not act at the midpoint. Just calculation based. Only when we enter into applications we can see that one. This is about the okay, in different types of field, if that particular the current carrying wire is kept or the force acting. That's what we have to analyze here. Okay, next after this is a long wire. This is a long wire. I'm going to keep a loop. A triangular loop, let me take it. A, B, C, where AB equal to BC equal to CA, let it be equal to L, and let it be at a distance L. So current let it be I1, here current let it be I2. What about the, just I'm asking, what possible direction in the loop, if it is set free to move, it will move. Or just force along x-axis 0, non-zero. So two cases, let me take it. There's a one thing. If you want exact, I think you should go by the mathematics. Just now I discussed, no? If they give all dimensions, everything, yes, we can work out here. Just only like force along x-axis, y-axis will be 0 or non-zero. The discussion will be only that much. So let this be the current I2. What about force? I'm just asking you 0 or non-zero. Don't write anything here. Wire AB in what direction will experience force? The wire AB. Here you see B bar into the plane current. So it will experience a force here in this direction. And what about wire, the side AC? Current will flow in this direction. No? So put that one. So B bar current, so it will be in this direction. So roughly I'm just showing the directions, the force acting on the wire. So it will be somewhere here, FAB. Somewhere here, so somewhere here should be FAC. Is that okay? Point of application should not be the midpoint, because the field here will be more than this one. So at several points, the force will be acting, but the magnitude of force open will be more at this particular point. If you look at the wire AB, how the forces on the wire AB will be like this. If you take this wire AB, the magnitude of force here will be more. it keeps on decreases. It will not become zero. It will become some smaller value. Then similarly on the wire AC, the magnitude of force will be here. They may ask you just these directions also instead of asking some values. What about on on the wire BC? Next on the wire BC, it will be, so this is A, C, B. Current is flowing like this. No, there is a reason why the forces are in this direction. No, no B bar current. So on the wire BC, it will be, it should show, I should show the force more here. So it will be, get it? So this is what happens. These are the forces that are acting on the loop ABC. Now with the help of this, you have to analyze. With the help of this diagram, you are supposed to analyze here. No? Now, can you say anything about magnitude of FAB? FAB, somewhere the resultant FAB should be greater than FAC. And FCB and FBC, or also like FCB will be acting here. Shall we put one thing? FAB is greater than FAC. That much I can see here. So the net the net force along x-axis will be towards left, no? So Fx non-zero. What about Fi? Will be non-zero. Sir, in what specific direction I'm able to say clearly along, because FAB will be greater than FAC and the net force will be towards left. The loop, what happened, will tend to move towards left, set free. Along y-axis, I should work out. I can't say. I should work out with the calculations. No way we can make a guess here. So how to calculate? Calculate the total force FAB, then take component of FAB and FAC along y-axis. Compare with that FCB. The resultant will tell you in what direction it will be. So altogether along x-axis, I can say towards left. This will be towards left. About y-axis, I'm not sure. We have to take the calculations. Now similarly come for this. The resultant of this should be B bar. So the force of the resultant force will act somewhere here. Here should be the resultant of force. Only I'm showing the resultant force. What about here? Here I should show the midpoint. Is it clear now? Anything can we say about the forces here? Shall I put Fy 0? Will I agree? Provided it's an equilateral triangle again. The net force along y-axis must be 0. Along x-axis, non-zero, and I'm again we have to depend on the calculations. Fine. So these are some numericals will be there. So I think better once you do calculation, what like previous problem, what I shown method, no, like this, if the equilateral triangle, this angle will be 60 degrees if you take it. Then work out one problem so that you'll be in some comfortable position to answer any questions. Okay, let me take next situation. Can this along this you have seen, no? So now let me take some small examples. Huh? there's a spring and there's a current carrying wire where a current I is established in it. The weight mg is acting. These are spring constant. Okay, let's not bother how that current is set up. They just give a problem, a current I is flowing in the rod. So here let B bar be out of the plane. Everywhere there is a magnetic field which will be pointing out of the plane. So what is the elongation in the spring? Elongation in the spring, that one. Or what is the deflection in the spring? So any magnetic force will act on it. Current carrying wire, length is L. So B bar out of the plane, B bar current. So the force here will be acting BIL. Then let's say that your spring gets elongated. Kx naught, you see this one. So here what are the forces? BIL plus 2kx naught minus mg equals 0. It's in equilibrium, the rod. Slowly what happened? We are moving towards the application part. You don't bother anything, just current carrying wire, magnetic ampere force, and you enter into the mechanics concept. So can we calculate what is the elongation in the spring? So this will be mg minus BIL by 2k. If I slightly displace and release, it's going to execute SHM, no? Because what is the only resultant force that will act spring force? What is the time period of oscillations of this? Two springs are there. It will be time period of oscillations will be 2 pi m by 2k. It's going to SHM. It's going to execute SHM. Sir, what to do that BIL? The BIL, mg and apply amperes, apply the Fleming's left hand rule again, same thing. B bar out of the plane, take left hand, okay, take left hand, so don't look at her, immediately the left hand should come here. Charge particle moving magnetic field, again the same Fleming's left hand rule. Current carrying wire, again the same Fleming's left hand rule. So if I slightly displace about mean position and release it, no, it's going to execute SHM. You can bring all things. I'm telling this on total mechanics. Now we can learn with the help of this. Not in this total mechanics here. So there's one small example is what I'm giving that one. So can it set up again BL force? Can it set up a torque? The next thing. Time period, okay, I need not to show it. Able to all of you? You can analyze from the diagram, no? If you slightly displace about the mean position, it's going to execute the simple harmonic motion. Okay, so next we'll move from here to just wait. Okay, let's take some torque one. Coming classes will explore this. So let me introduce to dipole moment also, so that all theoretical ideas will get over. Then we'll proceed to the totally purely the application problems. Now this will be a wall, so let this be a string. This is a rod. Thick line needed. Okay, let this rod be hinged here. This is a string. Okay, fine. So this will be, so let there be a magnetic field here into the plane. So B bar, so this will be the, let the current I flow like this. So some battery is connected, let's not bother that one. So this is having a mass M. So what will be the angle theta and tension in the string? Find the rod AB is in equilibrium. Rod AB is in equilibrium. Find the tension in the string. So what are the forces that will be acting? Weight mg. Any BL force should act. B bar current. So how that force? Now there is a uniform magnetic field. So the BL force will act perpendicular to the rod. BL force should act perpendicular to the rod. Length of the rod, let it be AB equal to L and mass of the rod be M. The string will be taut, so the tension will act here. Will there be any reaction at the hinge? Yes, there will be reaction forces will be acting at the hinge. So what are the reaction forces here? Ry and let this be Rx. Can we equate forces directly? Tension means, sir, a component of BL. No, the reaction forces will come. No, that's why we are taking help of the torque. So net torque about it as it as it is in equilibrium, net torque about A should be 0. So therefore, mg L by 2 cos theta. Net torque about A due to weight, L by 2 cos theta, due to BIL. BIL BIL into L by 2. This will be anti-clockwise. Torque due to tension, T into L sine theta. All set equal to 0. Look at the arrows. About point A, mg will set up clockwise torque. About point A, you can see BIL into L by 2 and anti-torque, anti-clockwise. Tension. So this distance will be how much? This is L cos theta. Sorry, L sin theta. So perpendicular distance, L sin theta. L sin theta into T. So equate this. So mg L by 2 you can take common. So this will be mg cos theta negative BIL plus 2t sine theta equal to 0. Solving this, we'll get expression for the tension. So the tension 2t sine theta should be equal to mg cos theta minus BIL. This will be the tension. Can we calculate now reactions? What about the reaction forces? Equate forces along x and y on the rod. And calculate Rx. If you get Rx negative, you just said, so what is this Ry Rx? Forces acting on the rod, not on the inch. On the inch should be opposite to this. I think you know this. Whenever we say that rod suspended, no, what we show reactions on the rod. On the inch should be opposite to Ry Rx, what I indicated. Fine. So this will be reaction forces we can calculate here. T, this will be theta BIL sine theta minus Rx equal to 0. I'm resolving the component of BIL. So the component of BIL along x-axis. So this should be the theta, no? So BIL sine theta will act along x-axis here. So we know value of tension, substitute here, you'll get expression for Rx. Similarly, what about Ry? Ry should be equal to Ry minus Mg minus BIL cos theta. What are Rx and Ry? They are reactions at the inch. See, all what I introduced are the fundamentals regarding ampere force. This is the first time you are coming across an ampere force. So what is the ampere force? I just took the help of that spring one. I just took help of the spring one. Here I'm showing the time period also. Time period of means the BIL force, is it a conservative force? Yes. If it were non-conservative, okay, I would have not applied here. No, it's a conservative force. What is the nature of it? It's a conservative in nature. That's the thing. Next again, can it set up a torque? Yes. Can it accelerate a body? Yes. Can it retard a body? Yes. So it's all the things what a force used to do in the mechanics. No, the similar type of application problems what you can come across. I think this is what they focus more in advance. Two types of problems, and just based on electromagnetism, some questions will be there. Next application question comes, means ampere force along with the tension, along with the friction, along with the weight, along with the spring force. You have to explore. There will be no safer questions. So mixed concepts are very important. Yeah. Tomorrow we'll go for some application problems. Let me introduce to dipole moment, magnetic dipole moment. Meanwhile, you can see this. I'll have water.
Sir, BIL cos theta is acting upwards, no, sir?
Yes, BIL cos theta should come.
Okay, now we'll take the magnetic dipole moment. Now, look at the name of the chapter, electromagnetism. No, so what we are saying that a current carrying wire will behave similar to like a magnet. And whenever the word magnet comes, what will first thing will flash? South pole, north pole, no? Because this is very important to study the magnetic property. When I say current carrying wire will produce a current carrying wire will behave like a magnet means, then where is the north and south poles are for a wire or for a current carrying loop? The questions will definitely arise here. So for that particular, so what we can say is that for that purpose, open to address that south and north pole of a in electromagnetism. So I'm bringing the idea of magnetic dipole moment. So to define that south and north pole, even for a current carrying wire or current carrying loop, no, we are introducing this concept of dipole moment. So if you look at the loop, any shaped, any arbitrary shaped loop. So let me first take a circular wire. The current is flowing in it. Let the radius of the wire be E. Then, so there's a current carrying wire. It will produce magnetic field. So I say it will behave like a magnet. There's a ring. Current carrying ring. So shall I say current carrying ring equal to magnet. So we say electromagnet, no, it is electromagnet. So how do you can say you do one thing, bring some small compass needle. As you start moving it nearby, no, it shows deflection. Then where is the source for magnetism? This current carrying ring itself is behaving like a magnet. So we'll call it as electromagnet. Then rather than saying magnet, better call electromagnet. The moment word magnet comes, what is the first thing we want? Where is the north and south pole? Where is the north and south pole? So let's define first dipole moment. So what is the magnetic dipole moment? The symbol is capital M. It is defined as current into current in a loop by current in a loop into area of loop. So this is equal to current I. What is the area of the loop? Pi a square. And it's a vector quantity. Whatever the direction, curl fingers in the direction of the current. Then the thumb will give the direction of current. Means here what we should do again. Right hand, not left hand here. It should be right hand. So this will be the direction of current, and this will give M bar. The thumb will give M bar. So just sense of rotation. So here, according to the this is the axis of the ring. So current is flowing in this sense. So how M bar will be here directed along the axis will be vertically up. If the current flows in a ring, what about here? So here I'll change the direction of flow of current. The M bar will be in this direction. Curl fingers in the direction of current. Open up the thumb. Thumb will give the direction of M bar. Now, what is south pole, north pole? The magnetic dipole moment, like you go for electric dipole. In electric dipole, we had like this, minus, plus. How the dipole moment will be directed from negative to positive charge. Similarly, the dipole moment will be directed from south to north pole. We know M bar now. So therefore, this face should be south. This face should be north. I think if you take a ring, no, it will have two surfaces, no? The above surface is south, this will be north. Here, M bar will be directed from south to north. So this is south, this is north. Because all our problems are like a ring. Current carrying loop is what we use application. Where is the application? Where we have come across galvanometer. Of course, we are not using nowadays analog meters. Just go back to till 1990, less than 1990. All measuring instruments were using this current carrying loop. Just imagine, I think it started almost from 1850s. From 1850, it started here. So almost for 140 years, any instrument you take, there must be a current carrying loop. You might have imagined how much of priority they are given for this topic. After 1990, what happened? The digital electronics, solid state electronics came, then things changed. Now we are no longer using any analog meters. But till 1990, almost any quantity you want to measure, there must be a current carrying loop. That's the only alternative available for us. That one. You go to anything, any measuring instrument, so there used to be a current carrying loop. This much of wide application it had. Maybe after 100 years, they should remove this syllabus because no longer will be using analog. Now only we are not using any analog. They have to change syllabus almost everything they have to change. If not now, at least after 30 years, they have to change because what all we learn, all these are relevant now. So where do we use or where is the application? Definitely, I should say only 2% no application. We don't have much now. 98% of application, we stopped using this one. Only 2% still we are using. Okay, don't blame your teacher who is teaching all very old, centuries old topic because we are learning just fundamentals here, basic fundamentals. Is it okay? No. So south and the north pole. So why we define dipole? If you take the bar magnet, for a bar magnet, south and north pole will be like this. So when you purchase a bar magnet, no, so the first thing the shop person will ask you, what is the dipole moment you want and the shape. So when you purchase a bar magnet in the scientific labs, there if you go and measure in the lab supplies, no, when you say bar magnet I want, it'll ask you what is the shape, magnet, what is the shape and what is the dipole moment. And the dipole will be directed from south to north. And how we define dipole moment? We'll define dipole moment as pole strength P into geometric or so like a magnetic length. There's a magnetic length. Same thing, no? Like what we had dipole moment. Here we'll call that as a pole strength. Small m it is, sorry. Their magnitude of charge into length dipole moment. Here, so how, what is the charge, no? What is pole strength? Pole strength is called like a magnetic charge. Magnetic charge into separation between magnetic charges. What is the magnetic charge? One south or north pole is called as magnetic charge. So what is our purpose now? To define that when I say electromagnetism, I should say electromagnet. So where is the south and north pole is needed. So therefore I'm introducing an idea called as a magnetic dipole moment. How to find out that? Current into effective area. Now, is it for any revolving charge particle, will it have any dipole moment? Because revolving charge particle, will it produce magnetic field? A charge particle is revolving in a circular path. Will it produce any magnetic field? It is moving in a circular path with a constant speed v. So shall I say current I is flowing? Let A be the radius. Then how you define current? Current it as charge by time. And what is the time period? As it is moving with a constant speed. So therefore time period 2 pi A into V. So this is QV by 2 pi. So this is not a ring. Huh? This is not a ring. So what is charge particle? Charge particle, it is flowing in a curved path, not a ring. It's not a current carrying ring. Charge particle, it is moving in a circular path of radius c. Then, so we define the current I flowing that one. So what is the dipole momentum of this revolving charge particle? No. So what we are putting m bar of revolving charge particle. So what is the basic definition? Current into area. What is the current? Current we have defined it Q omega 2 pi a. This is pi a square. So therefore this will be QVA by 2. This is a dipole moment. This is the expression for the magnetic dipole moment of revolving charge particle. What is V? V is the speed of the charge particle. Now you can ask, what is the use of this? Where the hell we are going to get this revolving charge particle? To study magnetism due to a material. Because how do that magnetism of a object will come? Ferromagnet. How that ferromagnetism? Then paramagnetism. So usually what is the substance made up of? Revolving charge particle and atoms, no? So the revolving charge particle, will they contribute any magnetism? Definitely. Looking at this, a charge particle revolving in a circular path will behave like a magnet. Like that, for an atom, several revolving charge particles will be there. So they will contribute some magnetism. Like that, to study the magnetic properties of a material, we need all this background. For that purpose, we are introducing all these things. Magnetic dipole moment, what is the use of advantage of this? To study the behavior of materials, magnetic materials. There's the one thing. Next, again, the application. Current carrying loop will experience a torque or a force that we are going to use in the construction of meters, several analog meters. There's a background. And now, instead of revolving, it's a negative charge particle. So just show that current in opposite direction. That's all. No. And now instead of this, let me rotate a charged rod. I will rotate a charged rod. Now dipole moment of rotating charged rod. So let the charge be deposited. Go back to electrostatics. It's a finite rod. Length of the rod is L. Total charge, let it be Q. I'm rotating about one end. Then what is the dipole moment? And let M be the mass of it. What is the dipole? Magnetic dipole momentum of it. So let me assume a small element here. So this small element, what it do? It is going to revolve in a circular path. So let the dx charge of that be dq, and it will have a speed v, and it's going to move in a circular path. Then what is di first is equal to dq by t. So what is t time period? 2 pi by omega, or dq omega by 2 pi. What is the dipole momentum of this small element? dm is equal to di into pi x square. No, look at the element. It will move in a circular path of radius x. The small element, it's going to move in a circular path of radius x. So di equal to pi x square. So what is di? Let me substitute here. This will be dq omega 2 pi x square. So further this dm is equal to dq is what? Lambda into dx omega 2 pi x square. So let me eliminate 2 pi. So lambda omega by 2 x square dx. Dipole moment 0 to L. So lambda omega L cube by 2. What is lambda? Charge per unit length. 6 will come. So this should be Q by L. So Q omega L square by 6. What is the, this is what? Magnetic dipole moment, no? This is a magnetic dipole moment. What about angular momentum? Let's calculate the angular momentum. So what is the angular momentum of this rotating rod, which is equal to small l, I'll take it, because angular momentum symbol is okay, no. What is the angular momentum? We define it as I into omega a dash, you write it. Angular momentum L a dash. This should be equal to how much? L a dash I a dash into omega, which is equal to ml square by 3. What is small m? Small m is mass. Capital M is dipole moment. Capital M is dipole moment. So this small m naught, I'll write it because again. So let me put all the symbols in order. What is m naught? Mass of the rod. So let's take the ratio of these two. What do we get? Ratio of dipole moment to angular momentum. This should be equal to Q omega L square by 6 m naught L square omega by 3. how much I'm getting? I'll end up q by 2 m naught. What is m naught? Mass of the rod. Similarly for charge particle also, let's go back. I think just see once. So what is the ratio of dipole moment to angular momentum of this non-conducting charge rotating system? Charge divided by twice of its mass. For charge particle also, what is the angular momentum? About 2. This should be equal to m a square into omega. So m by L naught q. Okay, this is like I should write v equal to a omega, no? So this will become a square omega by 2. Means either you take charge particle or rotating rod or rotating disk or any non-conducting charged object. If it is rotating about any axis, the ratio of its dipole moment to angular momentum should be equal to charge divided by twice of its mass. I think this is, which will be very easy to calculate. I think we have already explored what the angular momentum concept. So which will be very easy. Angular momentum is somehow we can find out very easily. So dipole momentum will become easy for us to calculate. So therefore, finally, what I say, any arbitrary shape you can see, arbitrary shape. Non-conducting. It's having a charge q. It's having a mass m. Then let it rotate about any arbitrary axis, not something I'm just showing axis like this. Omega. So what is the ratio of angular moment, dipole moment to angular momentum? You call this is P dash. About any axis. Axis P dash can be the axis. This is the axis. This should be equal to how much? Total charge by the mass. Fine. So this is the one thing which you have to remember. You have plenty of numericals. Try to solve. It's all about the geometry, no? So what I do, uniform charged sphere. I will rotate about an axis passing through diameter. Then they'll ask you what is the ratio of that. If you know total charge mass, the ratio will be q by 2. Just verify, see once and come out of that. Because definitely in exam, they don't ask anything straight away that questions. So just in SURMA, there are 8 numericals are there of different shaped objects. They are rotating about an axis. Just see the geometry involved. Cone also I can ask you. I can ask you sphere. I can ask you pyramid. About different axes, I'll rotate this one. So if you know how to calculate angular momentum, I think you can get other one. Means what is the advantage of this? If you know any one, you can calculate the other one. So angular momentum will be very easy for you to calculate. Or dipole moment, left to you. You pick up either one. The ratio should be q by 2m only. Okay, this is about the thing. So which is just we don't have much application, just only integration based questions are there. Try to manage few. On the Friday, I'll discuss 2 or 3 different shaped objects, how to calculate dipole moment. So let's go for the analog, like application part, magnetic dipole moment. This magnetic dipole moment. So sometimes a situation arises like this. This is a loop. And the loop is, this is x-axis. Okay, this is z-axis, this is y-axis. Look at the loop. There is no wire here. There's a loop. So some part of the loop is there in the YZ plane and some part of the loop is there in XZ plane. Let the dimensions of this be L. And what is the dipole momentum of this? There is no wire here. I'm just putting dotted. So where is the conducting wire? Is here only, you can see this. Here, this one. There is no conducting wire here. That's why I'm not showing any current here. How to calculate the dipole momentum of this? Because what is the definition says that the definition is saying area into current. So how to, and moreover it's a like a vector, no, we should define even the m bar also. So what he's suggesting is whenever you get a situation of like this, no, you can assume equal and opposite current elements. Equal and opposite current elements and make out a complete loop. There is a one loop missing. So where the loop is missing. So if you see the number, I'll give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's one current side is missing, no? 1, 4. There's no current carrying element. So you can bring equal and opposite current element. One current element. And what is the basic definition of current element? Current element is a vector quantity, no? I dl bar. I am bringing two equal and opposite current elements. So here, what is the current in this? Let it be I. So did I change anything in the problem? Nothing, no. High L minus IL will be 0 only across 1, 4. I constructed two loops. Then calculate M1 total M bar. We can write M1, 2, 3, 4 plus M1, 4, 5, 6. And what is M1, 2, 3, 4? I into L square. This will be J cap. And this should be I into L square I cap. So what is the resultant M bar of this? I L square I cap plus J cap. Yes, it will be about any axis. That's why I just said no earlier. About any axis, the ratio of dipole moment angular momentum for a non-conducting charged object will be same. We should not define for conductor. Any reason? Conductor, what it is made up of free electrons, no? So as you rotate conductor, the free electrons, the pseudo force will act on free electrons and they will drift. And the rotating charge particles again will produce magnetic field. So we can't, for conductors, that formula is not defined, only for non-conducting charged objects, or better say insulators. The ratio of dipole moment to angular momentum should be equal to charge by twice of its mass. Okay, here in the side 1, 4 open, we are assuming equal and opposite current elements. So IL plus IL minus IL. So net current element 0. We didn't disturb any flow of current. And current element is a vector quantity. So like this, you complete that particular loop, then you define dipole moment. Okay, there's a one thing what happens where all incomplete loops are there, you can bring equal and opposite current element and make it complete loop. Here again, Ampere's force and dipole moment. Wide varieties of questions, similar to like rotation mechanics. Even rotation mechanics, mixed concepts are less. Here in these two topics, no, you can see the mixed concepts are plenty. You must explore. You must explore that one. Both these topics are very, even the motion of charge particle also. So try to focus more on mixed concepts. Because again, you don't get this much of time to learn, because as revision, The total electromagnetism will come for 1 week. So in 1 week, what you learn then? So it's better to focus now only the mixed quantum. Don't postpone things. Maximum try your level best to attempt as many. Okay, this next situation. So there'll be a loop. Okay, there's a orientation of the loop here. So it is some making some angle with x-axis, this y-axis, this z-axis. Let this be theta. I want now the dipole momentum of this. This is A, B, C, D. What is the magnetic dipole moment of this loop? Because a loop, current carrying loop can lie in space. Then how to define that m bar vector? So let the dimensions of this, let it be AB equal to BC equal to CD equal to DA equal to L. So what is this one? M bar, what is that? Current into area, no? Can you find out area vector if you can define the sides? Go back to vector cross product. So what is the dipole moment? I bar, I into AB cross BC bar. Current into, what is AB bar? AB bar will be L cos theta I cap L sin theta K cap. Because component of AB will be along Z axis, component of AB bar will be along X axis. BC is what? Into L J cap. L square, you take it this one. I cross J will be K cos theta K cap. K cross J, K cross J will be minus I. Okay, this is a dipole moment. Or minus sin theta I cap plus cos K cap. Can we justify what we derived? Can we justify? We know how the dipole moment will be, how it will be directed. It will be directed normal to the plane of the loop. It's a, since a square loop, no, normal to the plane of the loop. If this loop lies in xy plane, tell me how dipole moment will be along z axis, parallel to z axis. Better, if the loop lies in xy plane, how this dipole moment vector will be parallel to z axis. Don't say along z axis because it should pass through the center, no, center of mass. So if the loop lies in xy plane, then the m bar will be along that axis. So try to rotate this loop from about y axis. Let it one AB edge AB lie in xz plane. So definitely the m bar will make some angle here. You take notebook, finding very difficult, go to the take notebook and go to at the corner. You'll get at corner XYZ. You can keep notebook in one wall, in the plane of one wall, or you can keep in a space. Actually, I had to show M bar here. M bar, I had to show it here. You'll not understand. That's why I'm just bringing it here. So this should be the theta, no? The theta. If the same loop lies in XY plane, how M bar will be? Parallel to Z axis. So here M bar will make some angle theta with the Z axis. So that's what just find no K cap, and this is negative X axis. So where all needed, you can take help of this cross product also. Can we also write it is BC cross CD? I think one of the same, no? Vector cross product AB bar cross BC bar, or BC bar cross CD bar, or CD bar cross DA bar. Which one you find very convenient, easy, you take help of that one. So like this, we can define the dipole moment of a loop. The magnetic dipole momentum of a loop here. Okay, next again. So after getting this much, so let me take a loop. This current carrying loop, I'm going to place x-axis, let this be z-axis C. So let this be A, B, C, and D. Let there be a magnetic field. And this is the most important thing of dipole moment, what I'm putting in front of you. So let me take a rectangular loop. It is AB equal to CD equal to L and DA is equal to BC is equal to, let it be B. There's a uniform magnetic field. I switched on. What is B? Magnetic field. Let me put it. So let there be a current I. Now let's see what are the things that will happen. We know current carrying wire kept in a magnetic field will experience a force. No, let's search the forces first. What is the force acting on the wire AB? Current flowing is I. AB bar. AB bar is what? L minus L I cap cross B naught I cap. Shall I write directly things? So I cross I will be 0. So no force is experienced by the side AB. Then come for CD. CD should be equal to L bar cross B bar. CD bar cross B bar it is. So this will be Li cap. Force experienced by that will be 0. What about AD? What about DA and BC? The force experienced by these sides. DA bar should be equal to I into B minus B K cap cross, I'll write it below. Current I is equal to I into dA is what? Minus B K cap cross B naught I cap. K cross I will be J. So this will become B naught I B J cap. Similarly, FBC. This should be equal to BC BK cap B naught I cap. Minus this will be K cross I. K cross I will be J. So minus B naught IB. So fine. So look at that forces acting. So where we have to show these forces as it is a uniform magnetic field. What is B? B bar is uniform magnetic field. And if you keep a rod current carrying wire in a uniform magnetic field, what will happen to it? It's expensive force. Where do that force? I have to show acting at center of mass. So here is what that force will be acting like this. FDA minus B naught J cap, not downward, no? What about FCB, FBC? FBC should be upward. The loop, I'm not suspending anything. I'm just set it free. I'll kept in a magnetic field, uniform magnetic field. So what about directed along x-axis? What about the loop? The loop lies in XZ plane. What about the loop? Loop lies in XZ plane. And these are the prior conditions. Is there any talk about O? Yes, there's a torque is acting, no? So let's calculate the torque acting on the loop. About which axis the loop will rotate. You know enough rotation mechanics. Sir, what about the weight? Put Z equal to 0. Time being, let's analyze only with ampere force. So what is the torque acting on the loop? So we know some basic idea of the torque. So both will FDA into AB by 2. What about the torque clockwise? Then FC, FBC into how much it will be? This also not AB. I'll write it the length L by 2, L by 2. Both are clockwise. No, about what? About what? What is the axis? About Z axis. So this loop, what is experiencing a torque. Torque about what? About Z axis here. And if you look at the magnitude, both the magnitudes are same, no? FDA, FBC. And both the magnitudes are same. And both are in same sense. I'm writing directly torque, no? Any minus J, I think we have taken care of everything. I'm just showing the sense of rotation here. Torque is set up about that axis, so this will be, shall I write FDA or FBC, anything, you can take it. So FDA into L clockwise. What is FDA? B naught IB into L. Let's, what is IB, current into BL? Can we bring dipole moment into the picture? So what is the magnetic dipole moment? Current into B into L. So therefore the torque acting on the loop, what is equal to B naught, high BL, I'll write it as M. Okay, that's only B, no? B naught. So look at M bar. Now we are in better position. Can we say anything about M bar? M bar will be directed along y-axis. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, fine. Yeah. Some connectivity was problem. How the M bar will be directed along like in this direction. So and what is B naught? B naught is external field. So definitely. So and look at the angle between M bar and B naught, 90 degree, no? So therefore, I'm trying to construct a formula here, or nothing but I'll write a generalized formula M bar cross B naught. B naught is external field. So like this, if a current carrying loop kept in a magnetic field, will it experience a torque? Instead of, see, what we have done, instead of, what is the approach? Force acting on each arm. Then we should also check even the axis of rotation. Since it was simple case, we are able to make a guess it will rotate about that axis. If I give some complex current carrying loop, no, it's very difficult to predict the axis. It's not possible. It may take even one day also. Then, sir, how to overcome that difficulty? So what they have seen is like for some simplified structures, they have seen that this formula, it obeys. So they made a generalized rule. If a current carrying loop kept in a magnetic field, what is the torque experienced by it is given by this formula. Torque equal to M bar cross B bar. So what is this? Torque due to dipole moment acting on a current carrying loop. So instead of constructing like this, instead of thinking like this, what is telling, directly take help of this formula. Check M bar. How to calculate M bar? Current into area, and you know the external field what you applied, and check the torque here. This is the core of, if you look at the advanced, no, there are 12 questions are there, more than 10 questions are there on this formula. Because application, because I can introduce back to directly to the torque concept of rotation mechanics. Fine. So this is about the basic idea of torque due to dipole moment. So what is this equation? Torque due to dipole moment. A very important one. So we will get, I think, almost ampere force torque due to dipole moment. Together, what happen if you see the application part, no, almost 60% you can put. What all the numericals came in mains advance are related to these two topics only. You can pick up loop of any shape. I just took a very simplified one so that instead of writing this formula directly, no, I just derived it. Okay, like this, the torque acting on a loop are related to dipole moment and magnetic field here. You can pick up any arbitrary shape, provided if you should know how to calculate this force and you should know how to predict the axis of rotation. What about this torque? Sense of rotation is this one. No? The torque will be acting in this direction. What is the direction of torque? Torque will be like this. Sense of rotation will be like this. Again, I think you should make a difference between the sense of rotation and the torque. Torque is the axial vector. It will be directed along z axis. Okay, fine. So this is the, so you write it here by about, already we have written, no? About z axis, the torque is set up. Okay, any doubts related to this, you can clarify.